यहाँ #1 रहना एक जरूरत है। ये जंग जीतना हर एक टीम का सपना है और इस सपने को पाकिस्तान
Whoa. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is, of course, day number 2 of the grand finals. You are watching PMPL Pakistan Fall 2022, and here we are. Joining along with me is going to be Lakshay. So, yep, day number 1 was exhilarating. And what are your expectations from day 2?
Well, that much more of chaos theory being showcased right here from the teams, definitely, of course, fixes. Because yesterday, as you mentioned, it was definitely an unexpected day, but it was a good start to the grand finals. And today, I want that amp to just increase a little bit more because, again, we were talking about it yesterday. Only 12 matches in total remain before we find out the champions of PMPL Pakistan. At the same point of time, the 6 teams that move on to the SA Championship itself.
Oh, indeed. And, the competition is really fierce and tough because, yes, I8 finally finding their winning ways, getting those 2 chicken dinners, that 3rd position.
True.
I think they seem to have found their flow that they needed. But again, the competition is quite fierce coming in from T20 QWERTY, and then again, Quantum Rage being the most consistent team. Team Magnus, they haven't really had the best of the day, I must say, in terms of what we really expect out of them and how they delivered. But today might be completely different. But you know what, I'm kind of excited about the other teams, especially teams like the Grounders, TUF, Kure, Star, H2E. Somebody from these teams to kind of overperform today so as to kind of bring in that extra added masala, because
definitely, as you perfectly mentioned, right? I mean, we saw Bablu have the caliber, especially in week number 3, and yesterday as well, definitely showcased a really good start to the play that they brought in, found themselves on the 6th spot as of now in the overall ranking, and of course, we want that to just keep on rising as we want to be able to get the best teams out there in the SA Championship from the Pakistan lobby itself. But on the other front, again, you bring the conversation towards another team like, for example, Quraishi Sports that were popping off heads in week number 3. This time around, to start the things off, have been, well, finding themselves on the 9th spot. Today is a brand new day. It is how fair are they going to be looking?
I'm pretty sure all these players would have today's lobby is going to be like. But then again, like you said, the moolah that's on the line, the $100,000, that is what we are talking about. The first position is for the top 6 teams qualifying for the PM teams in South Asia. But apart from point structure, again, for all the new view saving grace for teams like Magnus for themselves no matter what. And as a result of which, they're still in contention for in the top 4.
Absolutely, and that is what that is where, of course, as you mentioned at times, right, the masala is being also showcased, as Fixes did mention. But as far as the 95 points, in fact, 10th position itself, we're going to be looking at 95 points, I believe, where, of course, it all was. There's not a big difference.
Not really playing to their utmost.
Indeed, as itself, and today, of course, the application is what top of the leaderboard is what we want. These number of points, the saving grace as it's called, for these teams or not, because again,
Regicide, I think they were smooth, right? It was just that one. Apart from that, they really need to watch out in Miramar, because both the times they've come out in Miramar, they have been taken down at the 15th position. So that is a thing of concern. If Team Star can somehow manage to deal with it, then they're good to go. But even the stars are definitely not looking aligned for the other teams, the ones like R3D, or maybe let's say North Esports, because North Esports yesterday I really expected that they would come out swinging in the game of Miramar, but that did not happen. If you remember that first fight against Bablu, they took so long despite having such a good spot inside the circle, and hence sort of barring their own entry inside the zone later into the game, and had to suffer with the consequences of their acts over there. So there are a lot of few mistakes that the teams have been making, but we have to talk about the big guns, right? The elephants in the room. That has to be Team I8 and QWERTY. What a splendid play coming in from their side yesterday throughout, especially I8 getting those 2 chicken dinners and a top 3 finish.
Right. Well, in fact, as you point out, especially for the side of I8, definitely is something that was missing. The spice that was, the flavor that was showcased from I8's playstyle yesterday is what was missing from. Definitely found that perfect playstyle and are definitely utilizing it to deliver points for themselves as they find that top of the totem pole position for now. On our screens where we can see the grand finals day one being compared against the play of Magnus Esports. Now Magnus Esports have had a tough day yesterday, 24 eliminations. Again, they were part of some interesting fights, they were part of course, incredible conversions as well, but the numbers were dwindling down for Magnus Esports. The rotations that were being made, it was just not working out for their class, and that in turn resulted in them not getting the best of the best day number one for themselves. But again, they're sitting on that fourth position, so it is still a possibility and quite a lot of a chance that can be anticipated from Magnus Esports today to deliver the points that we so want to be able to see from them. At the same point, a big well, again, right now we're talking about a big change that I did not anticipate but definitely wanted to see and has been delivered is T20 Query.
Oh yeah, T20 Query 100%. You know, especially their Miramar games, right? They've always made sure they made it count, and even yesterday also, if you remember, a first position and a second position finish almost had the second one as well. So again, you know, we remember how that second game of Miramar all went out, right? Especially with the grounders having the best spot inside the zone, but despite that, you know, T20 Query fought their way out. But Team Magnus, I mean, one of their biggest problems has been the map of Sandhawk, where they are being constantly being targeted or pressed upon by the players of 52 Esports, and that has been a cause for concern for me. You know, I8, they're definitely leading the charts, but we're yet to see that we did witness in week number one, because now the chicken dinners are definitely coming. But if you talk about I8 style chicken dinners, they're usually with let's say 10 or 12 plus finishes, and they haven't really managed to get that feat yet. So we're kind of hoping that, I think they're gonna take this day very seriously, because if today they build up a sizable amount of lead, and then maybe I think they might be looking for going all guns blazing and just absolutely shredding apart the entire lobby.
Definitely. And again, taking the conversation back to the conversation that you had in the green room itself, right, for the side of I8. Now, they have been following along the same path and rhythm that they were doing from week one itself. That is something that could maybe be the reason why we saw a little bit to rise back from those ashes itself that we saw from them yesterday, right? And slowly pieces that were shattered across for them from the lobby, and now when they do find their foothold on the top, you mentioned, we want to be able to see the play strat. They need to be able to create a different strat in terms of how they want to be able to approach things, and that perhaps is maybe to start the day off itself on the map of Miramar. But we'll see, because right now again it is a fingers crossed conversation right here from the desk, but definitely the eyes out are all the eyes are definitely going to be out on towards I8. At the same point, T20 Query, a team that on Miramar was so fantabulous from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. You and I, we both were talking about how T20 Query had a hold. You talk about Sandhawk, they were really looking, I mean, I'm talking about the previous PMPLs, right, where we saw T20 Query being the one who were very much in control and in charge, and also the synergistic play that was showcased from all of those 4 players. This time around, it was a little lacking in week 1 leading up to 3, but now in the grand finals, well, they have delivered.
Oh, they certainly have, right? Especially, you know, like we've been discussing about them. This little standoff between these teams. But we're going to talk about T20. They've really worked out, and the after survival numbers high on kills. But I think this sort of they're kind of struggling in Sandhawk, but the Erangel games have somehow been better. That they need to get a few more finishes still. Despite that fact, I think they have really come out pretty strong. But this is the game of Erangel that we were talking about, you know, get